are with the Omega Level Nerds. D Square. I don't know if he ever tells you to get in the chopper. Get in it now. Come kill me. I'm here. J100.
Her. Yeah, she was.
I can holler at her. I gotta fight Cyclops and Wolverine to get that Jean Grey. Never mind, forget all that. I'm gonna hit up.
Right,
Wolverine.
exactly.
Jelly Rose.
But I'm very, very looking forward to a Doctor Doom that does not suck. I'm actually looking forward to more figures since I do collect them.
And Volsker. Naked.
You know what's funny is I was about to say, could it be that Marvel Girl looks like she's trying to get Twitch viewers?
Yeah, exactly. Are gonna get real nerdy for you real nerds. The Omega Level Nerds are with you, of course. It is I, your host, D Square. Jelly Rose is also with me, as well as Volsker. J100, be having some internet issues, so hopefully he'll pop on. But if not, definitely the best to him, and hopefully he should be back next week. But, so let's talk about the finale to the Wanda Vision series. So like we said, there is not going to be a second season. This is a completely contained story, and now we have all the parts. Of course, spoiler warnings ahead, as is normal here.
It's going to be a spoiler-gasm, let's be honest.
right, a spoiler-gasm. So I will definitely start off with saying that I enjoyed it. I think there are a lot of fan theories that did not come to fruition, and I've seen a little bit of backlash because of that. I don't think that is fair. So I think in itself, I think it was a really, really cool story. I felt that basically this show had a couple of goals to accomplish, and I think they did that. I think number one is to establish the Scarlet Witch and her power level, as whereas where she is at and what has led her to be the villain of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I know that's something that is also getting a little bit of backlash as far as Wanda being a villain. I've seen on Twitter, Wanda stands not happy with that whatsoever. But, she's not going to end up being like a villain. I mean, she is a superhero, but we're learning a lot about her. We're learning her story, and we learned a large part about her trauma, really. I mean, this whole show is really about her trauma and what she has gone through from ding to dong and what has got her to this point.
People forget that in the comics, the whole series was based off of where she was the villain, and when they brought her into the MCU for the whole 3/4 of Age of Ultron, she was a villain.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and she was with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in the comics, just like you said. So it's definitely not beyond the source material whatsoever.
Now, it's not intentionally being a villain.
Right, exactly. I feel that another goal that this series was to establish Monica Rambeau as Spectrum or Photon. So I definitely feel that we did that. But yeah, I felt that, okay, it wasn't the House of M. Okay, that's fine. They hinted at it, but I've talked about, how Marvel likes to do, kind of like the bait and switch almost sometimes. So,
I mean, we got the most expensive boner joke that will ever exist.
Right. Yes. Alluding to the last name of the person.
Boner.
Yeah. So there we go. With that, Jelly Rose, as we normally do, I want to get your thoughts. You don't have to break down the whole episode for us. We will certainly walk through it a little bit, but as our Wanda fangirl, now that it's all over, we got a mid-credit scene, we got an end-credit scene. give us your thoughts. Give us a 9, or give us a rating scale, something between 1 and 10. How you like this series?
P.S. He's
So,
expecting a 9, just in case you didn't hear that.
like
Yeah.
a 15,000. I loved it.
Nice.
Some of my questions that I had last week were kind of answered. But then I'd have like a billion more questions because that's just how I roll. We got to see where, we kind of left off, what she was doing to the kids, what she kind of wanted. She was trying to exchange the kids for, Wanda's power.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda's pretty much like, fuck that shit. They're fighting. The kids are over there. We did see that, the kids and Vision are tied to the world.
Right.
Because, Agatha is trying to get her way. So she kind of starts letting people out of, their little thing. And they're like, let Daddy's like, I just want to hold my daughter. She can be the bully. She can be anything. Just let her out of her room. And she's like, and my name's Sarah, not Daddy.
The fact that she said she hasn't left her room that whole time, like, I thought we were going to get some morbid shit going on there. I'm like,
right. Like, we talked about how some of the kids, she can't control everybody. Some of the people weren't moving on the outside. The one commercial kind of played at, hey, people aren't kind of moving. They're kind of slowly dying, the ones that aren't doing anything. And, we've seen where Monica is. She's trapped in a dude's bedroom. He's kind of keeping her, which I have tons of questions about that. We see that he has the necklace on. She takes it off. Now, were the speed powers given to him by Agatha to, pretend to be the brother, or does he actually have those?
Yeah, that is weird because they did not explain that at all. We were talking about the boner jokes. Like, we did discover that Agatha was controlling him through this necklace that he was wearing. But like Jelly's saying, he still had these super speed powers, though. So it definitely tells us, okay, this isn't like an alternate reality Pietro, because again, they get it, it's like Kyle Boner or something like that. This was an actual Ralph Boner, right?
That's why she kept saying, Ralph is at home doing this, Ralph that, but
I didn't even put that together. Holy shit. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
Yep, that's right. I remember that exactly. But yeah, he's just some dude that lives there. So, I mean, I can only conclude that she imbued him with these powers, but I don't know.
I mean, we still don't know who the hell the witness protection person was either.
Yeah, they never went back to that. We never saw what happened to the beekeeper.
Or the fucking rabbit.
Beekeeper.
Yeah, or the rabbit.
Right, like where'd the rabbit go? And then it was funny because, okay, there's a couple other points I want to say before the funny thing. But, we got to see Darcy again. She, fucked up Mr. McShittyface. She's like, have fun going. Did she say jail or prison? I can't remember. Have fun going to jail.
Yeah. I can't remember jail or prison.
I think they clunched her in, She's like,
great.
Peace.
So that was cute. So then the big one, Vision meets Vision. And, Vision being intelligent is, what's your objective? To destroy Vision. Who's Vision?
Yeah.
He's like, when, you explains the boat thing, as you repair the boat, you have this and this, like, what one is actually Vision? And, we got to see him, touch him and kind of like break him out of his thing. Cause he's like, your memories are still there. Where the fuck did he go?
Yeah.
He noped out.
Yeah.
We didn't see him in anything. Afterwards, he got all of his stuff back and he went, bloop.
I think in the comics, when that happened, when he gets his memories unlocked, he's still, like, he's emotionless, isn't he, D? Where he's just like, I know who you are, but fuck you guys, I really don't care.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why he was like flooded with emotions and then flew out. So I don't think he is still 100% himself.
So he's kind of trying to process everything. That kind of makes sense.
How the hell all right, I have to recall. Why the hell didn't he phase out when Thanos was snatching the stone to begin with? Did you see that shit when he
Yeah.
went to I was like, what?
Well,
Yeah.
they were doing shit to him. Maybe he wasn't at full capacity
Well,
because they were trying to
Oh, he
kind of
was
like
damaged. That
remove
is
it.
right.
not only
I
that,
forgot
but
about that.
Thanos had the other Infinity Stones in the Infinity Gauntlet. He had the Reality Gem, you know, all that
True.
shit. So,
And he kept like grabbing him. Yeah.
right.
But it's
So,
just I laughed when he was like, "Yeah, I've basically been through that before," and he phased through, and I'm
yeah.
like, "What the fuck? Endgame never happened."
Right? And then, they're fighting. She's, going through the motions. She's kind of like, here, take all this shit. And, she's hitting her. You can see, Agatha, absorbing it, but she's also hitting the walls. And all of a sudden, she can't do nothing. And, she's kind of like, hey, I learned because this whole time Agatha is like provoking her, like, you have the power, you just don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
You haven't been taught. And she's like, thanks, for the lesson. And
Yeah,
I
because
just
she
thought it
made
was
all these
hilarious.
runes around the hex.
Like gigantic runes.
So
Oh,
in
yeah.
the contained space, only Wanda's magic will work, and that's how Agatha gets taken care of.
Which then I have questions about that, because then we see, she's like, I'm assuming she absorbed all of Agatha's powers.
Sure, yeah,
Because
that's
she
what.
kind of just.
I wouldn't
So
say
then
all because we've seen when they become like corpse, like skeletons when they lose all their powers. So I think she still
But
had something.
she's the Scarlet Witch. She doesn't kind of play by most of the rules, too, though.
True. I guess it's.
I get
I
the
can see either
impression
way.
they're going to be teaming up, so one way or the other.
I kind of get that, too.
Wanda's hands were like zombified when she was being
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
absorbed. So I don't know. I think she, yeah.
But then, she kind of goes, okay, you're going to play the nosy neighbor. But she did this inside when the hex was still active. My
Right.
question is, once it's gone, does that go away, or is that a completely different thing? Because, as she's doing stuff inside the hex, Agatha points out, this is a broken spell. It's always going to be a broken spell. And that's kind of how she was trying to play, hey, give me your powers and I'll fix this. And then she's like, once the spell's cast, it can't be changed. Ha ha ha, I tricked you. But then Wanda's like, no, I got you, bitch. But, she does this while it's inside the hex. So now I'm kind of like, once it's gone, is it does it go to, or, is it affected in any way, shape, or form?
I guess it depends if she linked the spell to the actual hex. The way that she like transformed her looked almost like she directly took control of her individually. That's how I took it, but that's a good question.
Right, because she has a tiny little bit of knowledge now. She knows
Yeah.
of herself and what she's doing,
Mhm.
but can she actually, do the things that she wants to do without it being tied to that? I think that might be another thing. It might end up being like a weak spell because she doesn't have the knowledge, and Agatha might be able to break free later, unless this is some sort of separate, into where she is really confined as the nosy neighbor.
I'm wondering because then you hear that exchange where she's like, "You will need me," and she's like, "Well, I'll know exactly where you're at."
Right.
So I'm assuming she maybe like linked her to that neighborhood, or maybe it's not to the hex, but she can't leave that area.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they write that, because I think it is definitely within Wanda's power level to put a spell on Agatha to keep her there, regardless if the hex is there or not. But to Jelly's point, Wanda is very new at this still, so she could have cast a spell that at some point will wear off or Agatha can get past. But I do believe that you referenced that, you're going to need me. I know where to find you. Definitely looks like they're going to be teaming up, possibly against the god of chaos magic, which is, his name's like Clue or Cluth or something crazy like that. And he actually resides in a mountain, and it's been rumored that, how at the end of the credits, at the very end, we see that Wanda is in a cabin alone. But we actually see two Wandas, because we see one Wanda just kind of hanging out drinking tea. Then we see the other Wanda who's like studying the chaos magic book.
Like she's straight
doing
out Doctor
astral
Strange. That shit.
projection, like Doctor Strange.
That's
So
the
my
first thing
question
I thought of. I was like,
in this new Doctor Strange, is she the villain or is she learning from him?
I don't think she's learning from him because of what Agatha said, which is interesting, which was, oh shit, I'm paraphrasing, you're the Scarlet Witch, you are stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme. And when my wife didn't catch it, but when she said that, I was like, oh shit, okay, so in this universe, they're straight saying you're stronger than Doctor Strange. So I think she's going to be a villain. Now, I think it's going to be a villain, though, like she is in this, where it's kind of like unwittingly.
They did put the point of, she's the harbinger of chaos. She's going to bring destruction to the world. But if you think of it this way, wouldn't it be beneficial if Doctor Strange taught her to control it to where she wouldn't that be more of a directive from him to prevent it that way? If he wasn't able to get rid of her, why not teach her to where that doesn't happen?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I would play off like that last scene. That sealed it for me. And we'll dive more into it, but just you could tell in her eyes and what she's looking for. I think she doesn't give a shit what anybody wants. She wants her kids, and that's where she's going for, which prelude to like House of M, where that's what caused her to just lose her shit. Yeah. Like, I think she still can be the cause of the multiverse shit because she starts dabbling, trying to find her kids. With the Darkhold, where are her kids? I'm assuming hell.
Well, I'm still thinking the Mephisto route. I just obviously they didn't do it in. Well, yeah, exactly. They just not doing it as a show. I think we're going to get to see more of that in the multiverse of madness. Or it could even be beyond that, because they're setting up the Young Avengers. And so they still have some people to set up. So we're definitely going to... and while we're talking about it, I guess let's get there. So we talked about, okay, so basically Wanda versus Agatha. Okay, that got resolved. Wanda outsmarted her with the runes, took care of her, put her under a spell where basically she's back to the nosy, ultra-smiley neighbor again. Then Monica Rambeau was actually being held captive by the fake Pietro, Ralph Boner. And so that got resolved. She escaped from him.
Boner.
We saw Mick Shittyface try to shoot the children, so he goes to an all-new depth of asshole. Thankfully, Monica Rambeau steps in front of the bullets, absorbs them, which was kind of a cool scene because you see the bullets go through her, but then they drop, like as soon as they go past her, they go down to the ground, and then even Vision helps out a little bit there. That's, of course, until the White Vision comes. They have their Superman battle, which was cool. All sorts of phasing in, phasing out. But then what was really interesting was then they just kind of stopped and they talked. They're like, hey, let's resolve this peacefully. And they did. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Right, like that was confusing for a second. It's like, oh.
Can we just applaud him for being Vision? Like, dude is insane, and I don't know too much about Vision in the comics, D, so maybe you can answer this. Is he very, like, very, how do I say it? Like very mythological, like that in the comics. Like, is that how he talks?
Yeah. Because I mean, he was still, created by Hank Pym. He is a living computer. It's probably a little bit more organic in the MCU than it is in the comics. I think Paul Bettany does a great job. Yeah, Paul Bettany does a great job, and I know he hates putting on the makeup, but at least he seems to really enjoy the character, which is awesome. It sure is. But yeah, so after all that's resolved, right, then WandaVision is over. And I know I've heard people complain, why aren't we getting to season 2? You don't understand. WandaVision basically stopped halfway through this episode when McShittyface confirms they're no longer broadcasting. WandaVision is referring to this TV show reality. It is over. There's no more WandaVision after this episode. Because one thing that Agatha Harkness does do, which kind of proves that she's not the villain, but I mean, she is in this show, but kind of not, is she awakens people that are in the town, and everybody's pleading to Wanda. Jelly Rose talked about it, where she's like, my name's Sarah. Please let my kid out of the bedroom and all that. And, Wanda's saying, oh no, you guys are all peaceful and comfortable and well taken care of. And they're like, no, when you sleep, we get your nightmares. So she basically undoes the hex, but she leaves a small little pocket of it there so that her, Vision, and the boys can walk home, put the kids to bed, knowing that you're never going to see them again. And then
I bawled my eyes out.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are they really doing this? Like,
I'm like, wait a minute. Is she just going to do it right on the house and they can just stay in the house?
Yeah.
But no, it's just completely gone. And I'm like...
And yeah, the kids and Vision are not there.
But the thing that he said, he's like, I'll see you again or something like that. So...
We'll get Vision back. We will. I think that the White Vision will...
the other him.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think we're going to get him back. I don't think they're going to follow the comics exactly.
She doesn't know that what he did to the other Vision.
Right.
True.
Because she was fighting Agatha, and then all of a sudden, the other one's gone. So, like, maybe she just assumes that he fucked up the other one. Because, before, last time we were talking of, hey, we got Vision versus Vision. What's going to happen? Is he going to take over the other one?
Right.
Is this one going to cease? And, she finally does tell him, you are the piece of the Mind Stone that's inside of me.
So she could imbue, the other one with the piece of the Mind Stone that she still has.
True.
That's very true.
Put like a mini hex like on him.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was heart-wrenching.
Memories and things, so maybe she can imbue the humanity back into him. Maybe that's why she's studying so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we heard the kids in that last scene too of, Mom, help.
Oh, that got me. And then her eyes, and she's just like that smirk. I was like, oh shit's about to go down.
And that's kind of why I think there's this multiverse of madness, because I think, in the games, in the comics, we kind of see that she can go multidimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Does she go to another dimension and pick her kids out from there, which causes some sort of ripple? And maybe that's what the Doctor Strange one's about too, to where she done fuck shit up again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think hell is technically its own dimension, isn't it, D, in the comics?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what she does in the comics for the most part, is fuck shit up and somebody else has to fix it?
For the most part, listen, she did help. She did help resolve a very big problem back in Avengers vs. X-Men. Her and Hope together, so it's not all bad. But yeah, so yeah, at the end of the show, we see that Wanda is combing through that Chaos Magic book.
Oh, they did confirm it is the Darkhold.
The Darkhold, yes.
Also leads to believe that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon, because the Darkhold was in that and it was completely different.
Yeah, good. But yeah, so we see her in her new costume,
which is fucking awesome.
I think it's awesome too. I got complaints of people are like, "Oh, the Thing is not big enough." Like, you're not going to get that in the movies. Just like when Wolverine comes out, he's not going to have those big flappy things.
We got it in the Halloween episode. Shut up.
Right.
It's very true.
Like, this is very this can be an iconic suit. Like,
right.
I think
it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just it's not as accentuated, which is
I
fine.
See cosplayers already make it,
and it's very reminiscent of Magneto's.
Yeah,
from the Fox universe.
That's just a crazy complaint. That, it's not pointy enough. It's like, what is that? What we're?
It's not pointy. We need it bigger, larger, pointier, more red. It's not the right shade of red, guys.
Oh my. Jeez, OP.
Isn't it actually, now I'm thinking about it, like I could see who wore it better, like her next to Jean Grey, because didn't she also wear something similar as the Phoenix? And the X-Men 3?
Yeah, she did. She had like a red dress on, exactly. All she needed was the little pointy tiara, and she would have been the Scarlet Witch.
Oh my. So, another thing we see, random dude go up to Monica and was like, "Hey, your mother's friend needs some help," and boom, Mr. Those are scrolls, right?
Yeah, scroll. Yep. Points
so
to
then Hub
up
was
there.
like,
well, see, so SWORD has a giant battle station that orbits Earth called the Triskelion. If I said that right. Triskelion, something like that.
I think it's called the Hex in the MCU.
Okay, the Hex in the MCU.
Because they talked, I'll have to go back to Far From Home, but I think they say, like, I think they dub it the Hex when they're reading, like, where they're at the end of the credits.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, she's going to get to go back up to space again, which McShittyface denied her. So fuck him completely.
He was like, "Yeah, your friend said he heard you were grounded. He would like to see you."
Yeah. So that's cool. That's some Captain Marvel 2 stuff, I believe. Because in the comics, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, heavily involved in SWORD. So
well, she could also be in Nick Fury's Secret Invasion show too.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I think Secret Invasion is going to be the next big thing because seeing a Skrull again, which I mean you knew they were there from the Spider-Man stuff, but seeing it again, it's like okay, we're going to Secret Invasion.
I just gotta say, like, how fucking badass this was as a series. Like, I was not excited for Winter Soldier and Falcon, but now I am. Like, because we all know that's going to be the more action show versus the psychological. Sure. But if they're putting this much effort in a fucking 6 to 8 episode one-off, potentially, like, I'm excited. Like, they could probably get away from most movies and just do, like, major Avenger movies. Just do everybody in shows. And I'd be okay with it now at this point. Like,
Oh yeah, they definitely could. I mean, just to be honest with you, I don't see a need for movies. You could just do these types of shows on Disney Plus, and we're with it all day long. But
it really helps build out the characters and stuff.
Right.
Because you get more time.
Right.
There's only so much in the show, and then you kind of have to put together some pieces and have some knowledge, or remember an Easter egg or something from another movie, and it kind of helps. Really, the normies go through all the movies and stuff too. Yeah. It keeps them in it because
if they could actually watch the damn show instead of complaining.
Well,
that's a great point.
Freaking watch it
because that's a great point. Because Al, correct me if I'm wrong, because this could have changed, but to my knowledge, our mother still has not watched WandaVision, right?
She refuses. I tell her all the time she has no interest.
But yet she is super excited about Multiverse of Madness. She's going to be lost.
She may be. I did read something, actually. Kevin Feige, when he approached Raimi, told him that he wants it to be a direct connection. But I'm paraphrasing. it has to be easy for normies to follow who refuse to watch the show.
Okay. Well, maybe. Okay.
But I mean, let's see. Maybe he might do something cheesy like, "Oh, Wanda, you caused this when you took over that New Jersey city. Move on."
Well, right. Or like, hey, where'd you get the new costume? You know, like.
But yeah, I follow up to what you were mentioning a couple episodes ago, where this is going to start separating the true fans and the normies. Because if you can't get through 2 or 3 episodes of something like this, you sure in the hell aren't going to understand what multiverse is and different space travel. Like, come on.
Kang. Oh my God. You guys don't even. Please, Kang. Gore the God Butcher. I mean, you guys got shit coming.
Dude, fucking Christian Bale as a villain. I can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great.
And it's grounded, but we're also getting the real Mandarin here in Shang-Chi, which right there, if you're not a martial arts fan, that's all like, that's gonna
mystical kung fu, ancient Chinese secrets. Yep.
Be like, wait a minute, I thought the Mandarin was in Iron Man 3. What is this?
Yeah, if you don't see that Hail to the King MCU short, you've got no clue.
I hope they reference that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, how many people read books and then watch the movies and complain, and vice versa, and then some people just watch movies, and somebody that's read the book is like, well, you would know about this if you read this. It's in every kind of,
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
everything. So we're always going to have those people that are just going to watch the movies.
Oh, yeah. Like, for example, I've never read the Lord of the Rings books, and I probably never will. But I enjoy the movies.
Yep.
But then again, like Harry Potter, I know people who, same like my mother, she loves the Harry Potter movies. She'll never touch one of those books. And I'll swear up and down.
All the books. I've even read the screenplay.
Nice. I do have that. I need to read that.
It was pretty good. It was different, but it was pretty good. I don't understand why it was a screenplay and not an actual movie, because I would have enjoyed an actual movie.
Well, she didn't write it. She just gave an outline to the author. But WB, actually, there's rumors that just broke out like in the last 24 hours that they are looking to do that movie next and then do plenty of spin-offs. And that's going to be what HBO will kind of offer for the HBO Max. Like, that's going to be their Harry Potter universe, like, central area.
Interesting.
I never even watched the Fantastic Beast ones.
They're good, actually. I really enjoy them. Free Johnny Depp.
I think the what did they call themselves? The Pottermores, the freaking Harry Potter fanatics, pushed me away from actually staying in it. Because I had a lot of friends that were too obsessed that, kind of were reading Harry Potter houses as their horoscope, and were getting in it way too fucking far, to where if you didn't follow what they said or you were in the wrong house, they would they would treat you like really fucking shitty. And it's like, would y'all stop?
Jeez, man.
Like, you need a different hobby. Get another hobby.
It's not as bad as Marvel and DC fans going at it.
Or Star Trek and Star Wars.
Oh my god. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail it there.
I remember when these motherfuckers suggested to me that Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation would beat Chewbacca in a fight. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy. Get that trash opinion out of here.
Chewbacca will rip your arms out and beat you with this freaking...
Chewbacca will bust open that butt on the head looking thing, they got. But to to your point, Jelly, it really is it really is a science, an art form, if you will, when it goes from like enjoying something that you read and having it in another medium. Much like the X-Men that are coming to the MCU. I, as a major X-Men fan, I have preconceived notions of how I think they should introduce the mutants into the MCU and what storylines they should do first, what team they should start with first. I definitely
that was one of the major theories for the show that was debunked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was a theory that WandaVision would be the start of mutants as kind of a reverse House of M, from what we know. But does not turn out that that was the case. WandaVision thus far, other than cracking the door open just a little bit for Wanda herself being a mutant, outside of that has nothing to do with the mutants. But nonetheless, now that the show has been concluded, we have been getting some information out. So we pretty much have all been confirmed that, Feige has revealed that the discussions about the X-Men are happening. Beyond that, we did get a leaked logo of the title that they're going to introduce the mutants in, and it's simply called The Mutants. And for those watching on YouTube, I'll probably have the logo up somewhere on the screen as you're watching this. Only because I want to call out to the fact that when you look at this logo, it's actually the New Mutants logo minus the word new. So I don't know what that means.
Which is a throw. I mean, if you look at it though, like any X-Men fan from like the old cartoon and shit will recognize like that is the X-Men logo, just mutants. But I do like what I read about where that phrase came from. Well, I think you have that right.
Yeah, that is a homage, if you will, to Stan Lee. And the significance about the mutants, and it's funny that this is all going down like this again, because where the X-Men, or better yet, where the mutants came from, is the fact that Stan Lee, when he invented them, I can't have everybody be bitten by a radioactive spider. I can't have everybody be hit by an atomic bomb. Diversity. Yeah. It's like it's becoming a struggle figuring out all these different origins. So fuck it. We're just going to make the mutants, where they just spontaneously are born.
Fuck it.
with powers and shit. So that is a good homage. I just, the logo though, it straight looks like the New Mutants logo, just minus the new.
Well, didn't they? I read too that originally when Stan Lee and the co-creator like wanted to do it, it was going to be called the Mutants, but then they were like, that's too plain. So that's when they dubbed X-Men as the actual title instead of the Mutants.
Right. Yep.
And so I think that's awesome, because that's like WandaVision did a lot of that stuff. Like if you guys go back to the license plate from the Office episode, right, that was Stan Lee's birthday up top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show homage to the people, the person that got you out there. And I think it's perfect. Like from what I read in that article is Feige confirmed the talks have been long. They've been going over it. So it's not something like that's just starting. He's been doing his fucking mad genius shit, trying to like piece.
Well, you've got to. You've got to, because even as an X-Men fan, even with my expectations that it's going to be just a little bit different, or it's going to be different than what I remember. But this is still really, really important. Okay.
Can't be worth the box.
I'll show you I'm going to show you something. 1 second.
Like, I got something. Hold up.
There we go. Do you see? Okay. Do you see this? This is X-Men #1. Not the original X. This is the same issue. It's just got 4 different covers that come together to make a cool.
Was that the 90s with Jim Lee?
Yeah. This is Jim Lee. Yep. Also, funny, in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, 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 in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So outside of Jean, Professor X Beast, and Archangel, everybody on these covers is in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Anyway, my whole point for showing you this,
he loves his X-Men, if you can't tell.
other than I want to gloat. But anyway, the reason I did that is because that comic right there is the top-selling comic ever. That's why they ain't worth shit, because there's so many out there. But anyway, that comic has sold more copies than any other comic that has ever existed. I say all that to say this. The X-Men are important.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Men are the only reason that Marvel even survived. So it's big. It's big, it's important, and if they screw it up, they'll screw up the MCU.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we've already talked about comic fatigue. Them being able to introduce the X-Men right now is the only reason that the excitement for the MCU continues to climb. I mean, it's good stuff. And if the X-Men weren't coming, we'd still watch it. But because they have the X-Men now, we can have another Avengers movie. And I don't know if I can properly articulate what I mean by saying that, but I don't know. I loved Iron Man. I even loved Iron Man 2. But really, the first nerdgasm I probably ever had was that scene in the first Avengers film where they pan all around the Avengers. You know, do you remember when they're in the street?
Which was
and I'm
Cleveland,
like,
by the way.
Yes. I mean, I was like, holy fuck, we're here. We are fucking here. Yeah. I'm like, we are fucking here. This is great. Yeah, the X-Men can give us another moment like that again.
And then they kind of also did that in Age of Ultron too.
Yeah.
When they were inside like the temple and the fucking
yeah.
Like that was pretty cool. Cause yeah, wasn't that where we first also got where Iron Man was shooting off a Cap's shield?
Yeah, they were showing them work together. Iron Man shoots Cap's shield. He reflects it to kill a bunch of Chitauri. The Hulk
look
rips
at the
off.
synergy.
Yeah, yeah. The Hulk rips off part of that big space worm's armor, stabs it into him. Thor takes his hammer, smashes it down even more, takes him down. Like, yeah, that was the shit.
I mean, in any game we play that has, Marvel in it, we always have the character synergies between each other.
Mhm.
You push these buttons, this one goes off this, and they do, attack together. So, seeing that in the movies was like, oh, I remember doing that in a game.
See, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is cool, isn't it? It's my favorite part of it.
One thing I will say, though, just one last thing about the X-Men, and I think this is a very big thing, not only to your point where if he screws it up, which I don't think Feige would ever fucking screw it up, it could ruin the MCU or at least severely damage it. I think, too, doing it right will have even more of an impact with all the shit that we are dealing with in today's society, which kind of leads back to one of the reasons also, Stan Lee created mutants and superheroes was to show that everybody's not the same. And with the diversity issues, the ethnicity issues, the racism that's going on right now, like they really could implant very positive vibes doing this right and taking that heart that Stan Lee put in the whole reason behind the mutants and putting it in a $1 billion franchise on the screen.
Yeah.
You can't fuck that up. If you fuck that up, like you're really throwing money out the window. Disney, we know you like your fucking money. 2, you're throwing one of huge, massive opportunities to show that we're just not superhero shit. We actually have a purpose and we can do something positive outside of just entertainment, which kind of goes back to, Jay, Black Christmas, Black Panther. Like it's a superhero movie, but the underlining meanings behind that character in that movie, like the MCU can do a lot more, and I can't wait to see what we get.
Yeah. And you mentioning that also makes me think of, how passionate X-Men fans are about the X-Men, but what they mean to us. Now, I'm heteronormative, okay? But I was overweight growing up and a nerd, that ostracized category of people. And so the X-Men speak to me because of that, and they always have. Really, any person that has been marginalized is probably very attracted to the X-Men because that's the story of the X-Men, the story of mutants being persecuted and even certain instances killed just because of their genetics. That's always spoke to marginalized people. Again, those like myself, as well as the LGBT community, it's always been a metaphor that, and I get it, there is a strong metaphor there with civil rights and human rights and everything like that. But I will say that representation does come with a little bit of a caveat, because if you do something a certain way with a character, then sometimes that community can just kind of like go off. I remember that before they did the House of X, Powers of X, in one of the issues of Uncanny X-Men, Rain Sinclair, Wolfsbane, she was killed. And she was killed because she was in her human form, and these three guys were like hitting on her, and, she's not accepting their advances. And as they start to like mess with her, like almost rape at this point. And in that moment of trauma, she turned into Wolfsbane, and then they discovered that she was a mutant, and they killed her. Like, they're embarrassed that they came on to a mutant and they killed her. And so a lot of people in the LGBTQ community took that as like a metaphor for a trans person being killed because, the person that came on to them found out they're trans. And they were saying, oh, well, that's really not a good representation. You need to do better. And we just don't need that. I felt the message was there. I didn't feel that the X-Men, the writers, were actually trying to say, hey, this is us, supporting transgender. They were really just trying to tell a really sad story. So we just got to be careful there.
Make you think and like contemplate, see what's actually happening without, like, let's be honest, getting your hands a little too dirty. Because, you go down that rabbit hole, you're going to get judged every way. You're going to be judged if you come out with full support plan, black and white written there. You're going to be judged if you dodge. It's...
And the problem really is people's perceptions of things. Because, you could look at a turtle dying. Like, I had a turtle once. Yeah. And, people could just make up shit just because they feel like it. Or because they don't understand it. I mean, people, not everybody is intelligent. Not everybody sees the same way. So, people are going to take things different. They're going to see things different. They're going to, feel things different. And they could take, the meaning and turn it into a different meaning. And because people are sheep and because they want to kind of, go with the trends, go with the fad, they support these random ideas, which then harm things. And, we see that so often of, someone going, hey, I'm offended, and people going, oh my goodness, this person's offended. Let's get behind them. And, people going, but that's not what I meant.
Cancel culture. Sorry, I had something in my throat.
There's something in your throat. Is it out now? It's cleared out? All right. Yeah, I think cancer culture is starting to take some flack, and it's a good sign. I think we're starting to see some people stand up. But
I mean, I've seen this a few times, and it's like, oh, so now you're trying to cancel culture? And it's like,
yeah.
Dude,
oh my God.
Really? Like, did you guys see what happened over Eminem the last week?
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
so little babies are going and complaining about lyrics in a song, which actually, if you look at the background of the song, it's of the producer's relationship with the rap industry in general.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't know the meaning of the song, for one. For two, this is Eminem being like this, not like this.
It was his
And
calm stuff.
for three, where are your parents? This is mature content. Don't you guys ever look at ratings of things? This music is not meant for you, baby.
I just love the fact that people are writing diss tracks against Gen Z because they're like, dude, these songs came out before you were ever even like out of your dad's nutsack. Like, what is going on?
Like, your dad's balls probably even dropped yet.
Oh my god.
So he did make a diss track already. It's called Tone Deaf. And it's not really widely known yet. Like, I had seen it in a random article, and it's like, you thought this would have been like everywhere now.
Oh, I guarantee you he's probably going to do something full on. And of course, the first thing I thought of, oh, well, God, if they're going after Eminem, what, ICP next? Like, what the fuck?
Well, they won't go, yeah. Oh, but please, don't listen to ICP.
Don't buy your kids mature games. Make sure they have teen. Don't let them watch rated R. Don't let them listen to MA freaking music because they don't understand ratings. That it was not meant for them. Mature content. If you go into my stream, it's going to say this is mature content. Are you of age? If not, get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out and fuck off.
And I'm pretty sure, if you make a YouTube account and it's set to a certain age, you can't even watch some of that shit because it's mature content.
Yep.
So stop letting your kids make accounts with ages that are not theirs so that they can complain about music that's not for them. Holy shit.
Age-old problem. Parents be parents.
Parents be parents. Maybe they wouldn't be acting like they do if you were a parent. Quit going out and drinking with the girls because you need some time away from the kids that you don't even spend with them.
Right.
Not touching that.
Although cancel culture tried to cancel ICP like way back in the day before canceling was a thing. So they kind of already endured it. But
true.
I mean, a lot of it. Like, I've seen a list of things that people try to cancel. They tried to cancel Harry Potter because it was the devil.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
That was a thing for a while.
In Europe, adults they had to have specialized covers to block that they were reading Harry Potter because adults were criticized. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Yeah.
A whole thing.
I mean, video games. How many times has the government tried to, shut down video games?
Oh, I mean, they're just in Chicago. I can't remember if it was the senator or some whatever. He's trying to get a bill to ban certain.
There was a lady that recently tried to bring it up again. I can't remember who.
That might be
it. Like, oh. And it's like, honey, I just did a research article saying that it's the violence in the house and all the other conditions like bullying and other environmental factors that causes all this violence, not the video games.
Well, somebody brought up a good question. Was it video games that brought on the wars, or was it the wars and violence that brought on the video games?
Well, seeing as how there was war way before there was ever video games, I would,
right?
Right?
Mankind has been violent for thousands of years.
Some shitty stuff on TV.
Yeah.
Just that, generational gap to where they just don't understand the video games. What is this thing? I don't know how to use the printer. What does wireless mean? Wi-Fi? What is Wi-Fi? It
Wi-Fi.
won't connect.
What is this A button you talk about? Trigger? How do I shoot?
Well, outside of that, let me just go around the horn real quick. Volsker, on a scale to 1 to 10, I don't know why I'm doing 1 to 10 scales today, but I guess that's the theme for the day. What's your excitement with the X-Men, looking like they're finally maybe coming to the MCU, and not because of WandaVision?
So, to say that there was a little disappointment with not coming out of WandaVision, but I did love it. I'm still excited to see what Feige's going to do next. And just going back to like what I mentioned, I'm surprised at how awesome the show was. So the future of the MCU looks awesome. So with him doing his mad scientist type shit, like I would say probably a 9.5.
Okay, 9.5. Jelly, what about you? What's your excitement for the X-Men? Looking like they're coming.
Oh, 8.5. Only because we already got all these other X-Men movies, and it's just kind of like I'm kind of getting tired of them. Kind of like how DC wants to do the same thing over and over and over.
No, they don't do that.
DC reboot-averse, yeah.
I don't want to see the same thing rebooted over and over again. Like, oh, we're gonna get another Cyclops. We're gonna get another Jean.
Yeah,
so
but they can do it right this time. I guess that's why I'm at a 10, because obviously the X-Men are my favorite. And so to see them come into the MCU, which is the more quality version, I think we'll get more comic accurate versions. Yeah. Do we want to see another Cyclops? I do. I want to see the right Cyclops, because in the last X-Men movie, they went with the whole like Wolverine or bust mentality. So like they spent a lot of time trying to get you to sympathize with Wolverine over Scott Summers, and how they did that was make Scott Summers like a complete dick. And completely unrelatable. So I want to see X-Men done right.
Was in everything animated though. Like he was an ass in the animated ones.
They make him follow suit in all the animated shit as well, because
he's always like, I'm Mr. Perfect. We're gonna stick to the rules, and you're Wolverine. You're an asshole. Stay away from Jean. And that's just how I seen like everything that he's ever been in.
Because that's how he is portrayed. Like no matter what it is, these days, it's all about making Cyclops look like a dick, and making Wolverine look cool as hell, and doing everything they can to make you want Wolverine and Jean Grey together instead of Jean Grey and Scott Summers. So they always just change in a way.
That one comic where Cyclops and Wolverine got together.
Well, that's the shit. That's the shit that goes on now during Hickman's X run. Now it's kind of weird, where Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey all do this menage a trois bullshit that I'm not quite with. I'm not quite with at all.
They're sharing. They're doing the community thing.
That's a bit much for me. That's a bit much for me.
You're like, my old self can't do that. I can't do the swingers.
It's too much. It's too much. I
actually had my husband's, one of his best friends, his best friend's mom was a swinger the entire time that, she's still a freaking swinger, and she's old.
Well, it's like those nude beaches. Like if you go to a nude beach, you expect to see, like creme de la creme, but it's
My grandpa is a swinger. He always has different girlfriends, and he has a wife.
Oh my god.
It's just something, you get used to. It's like, oh, Grandpa got another girlfriend. Go, Grandpa. Freaking 70-year-old man.
wow.
Get it.
I just like to figure out how the one works and then do that. You know? Like I know what Mrs. Daniels needs. So I'm good to go. You know, I couldn't imagine complicating that process.
That's too much to remember for me. Like, oh, this one likes this, and
Right.
that one likes that.
God.
Right.
No, I'm gonna just stick with one. That's just too much work. Whatever
Yeah.
the rest of you guys like to do, go for it. Like, that's just too much for me.
Yeah, I never understood how people cheated. That's way too complicated and rough. Like, that's just not me.
We getting some weird topics today.
We do. The last 15 minutes of the episode always descend into some sort of madness. Well, real quick here, though, we're almost done with the show, but I just want to see if you guys saw a couple of things. So with some news items here real quick. Did you guys see the screenshots of Melissa McCarthy, Matt Damon, and Luke Hemsworth on the Thor Love and Thunder set? That movie's apparently going to have a lot of cameos, but yeah, they got Matt Damon as returning to the Loki role, like he did in Ragnarok. Luke Hemsworth, I believe, was also the fake Thor.
I didn't know that was him originally, because that's his
Hemsworth
brother.
Yeah, that's his brother. But now Melissa McCarthy is playing Hela in some play, I guess.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Not quite sure what they're trying to say. And did you see buff Natalie Portman?
That I have not.
Yeah, she's Natalie Portman's
Getting them gains. Work it,
right.
girl.
Right, she's doing the protein shake. Yeah, it's
Oh shit, yeah.
Boo.
Damn, she got some arms going on. Holy shit.
Yeah, she ain't fucking around. Kudos to
Yeah,
her.
like her shoulders are huge. Damn.
Now, she's too skinny for me, but outside of that, I always thought she was very attractive. But
Oh, you should listen to the Natalie rap too that she did with Lonely Island Boys.
Yeah,
she's
seen.
fucking hilarious.
I thought she looked good in Star Wars.
Padme.
And that one movie where she lived in a Walmart. I think we talked about that before the show. Actually,
I don't remember which one.
Jelly, I thought Jelly or somebody that was on the show watched that a bunch of times. Where she had a
Is that
baby,
where she had
but
like Yep.
she lived in a
I
Walmart.
remember that movie.
Outside of that, really not much going on this week. So I'm glad we had some WandaVision and X-Men goodness. Outside of that, this is completely strange to me. So I don't know. Talk me off this cliff here. Michael B. Jordan, they want to cast him in the Captain Marvel 2 movie? They're looking to cast Michael B. Jordan as a John Boyega type supporting role.
I think that's a waste of talent.
Well, he's already Killmonger, which I understand Killmonger's dead, right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Like, that doesn't seem... And
All you need is a little bit of makeup, a wig. Maybe he got buffer, or maybe he got fatter.
But Jelly, imagine if I was hey, yeah, Jelly, I'm looking for a Jelly type person on the podcast, and you could be like, but I'm Jelly, but no, I want a Jelly type. Do you have any recommendations?
Sounds like my dating life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a guy just like you, not you.
I'm a guy just
friends.
like me.
Right?
Me. Yeah.
A guy like you, just not you.
Right. Any woman would be so happy to have you. Oh, but not you.
But yeah,
Is that how that works?
that's how it works.
Uh,
So yeah, if they're looking for a John
honestly,
Boyega,
women say that because they want to be nice and they don't actually want a guy like you. They just
Yeah.
want to flatter you because you give them something else. So it's the friendship or whatever
Yeah.
they currently have. They like that and they want to keep you as a friend, so they flatter you.
In the friend zone.
She a bitch. Don't be friends with her no more.
that's a lesson that's hard to learn. Like, no, maybe if I be nice to her for 6 months, she'll finally, like, no, nothing. If a
Nope.
girl or a guy has deemed you unattractive in their head, that's it. And believe me, they're not going to take long to form that opinion.
Yeah.
So it's either going to, if you have to try too hard to make it happen, it's not going to happen. Advice from D Square. But my other advice here is that why would you hire Michael B. Jordan for an MCU role as a John Boyega type when A, he's already played in the MCU, and he's actually playing a character that you could potentially and may need to potentially bring back, and B, last I heard, John Boyega still exists. So if you want John Boyega, you just go get him. Just call him up.
Just go get
I think he might have blacklisted himself with the harsh remarks about how they wasted his character. They wanted diversity, but turned him into just this.
but what? Then it would stand to reason that to make it up to, I don't know. Then you're just trolling him at this point, right? Then you're just trolling him at this point.
We want a person like you because you a bitch.
That's just a troll at this point.
You could have had this, but you were being mean.
Yeah. It's a proverbial, carrot. Oh, you almost had it there.
That's like that. Was it the State Farm commercial?
Yeah,
$1?
Yeah. Oh, you almost had it. And then lastly, I don't know much about this, so I don't know if this is anything you guys have ever heard about before or are interested in. So Juniper's Legacy is a superhero show on Netflix. We've gotten some photos from it on Twitter there. It looks interesting. They look like older superheroes. Again, we've gotten our first look at photos from Netflix's upcoming superhero series, Jupiter's Legacy. Ahead of its release on May 7th, the streaming service has published a series of images from the forthcoming show, along with a teaser video of sorts that shows the various characters coming to life. So yeah, I'm not familiar with it is a comic book series. So this is a comic book movie.
They
The 10
look really
Go ahead.
old.
Yeah.
Like
the 10 issue
cheesy
comic book.
outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like Sky High. Ever seen a movie like Sky High or very reminiscent of like Shark Boy and Lava Girl type shit.
That movie is awesome.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
No, Sky High.
Oh.
He was judging you for a
It was,
He's like, wait a minute, what?
They did a new Shark Boy and Lava Girl, actually. And then they replaced Shark Boy.
The kids like them.
This could be interesting. It's like, what happens when superheroes get old? I don't know anything about it, but it, like, obviously they old.
Okay, so the description says the first generation of superheroes has kept the world safe for nearly a century, which they're old. Now their children have to try to live up to their legacy.
Yeah.
So while the photos
so
are the old people, yeah.
They're essentially training the newer generation. Okay.
I'll check it out. I mean, if it's anything like, honestly, it does look kind of darkish, so I'd be a little excited if it's something like The Boys.
I like the chick's outfit. It's very blue.
Are you going to watch The Boys anymore?
Me or her?
Yeah, you. Both of you.
Fuck yeah, I'm excited, dude. I love The Boys.
Okay, all right.
I have not seen it.
I don't know if I'm going back. I'll be honest with you.
Oh.
Well, Jelly, let me explain. You
Did
see,
it hurt you?
Well, the last scene you see of season 2, okay, is the main villain, who's basically Superman, standing on top of the building, jerking off. That's the last scene of season 2.
Oh, it's great.
He was just really happy. He just,
No, he's
he was
really
doing
fucking
his billing
disturbed.
thing, and he was like, "Yeah, I did a good job. I need to relieve myself for doing a good villainy job." I don't know what happens in the show. I'm just kind of like making shit up.
He was basically pissed off, and he wants to destroy the Earth. So that's just him showing he doesn't give a fuck. So he's just jerking off, and it's actually a reminiscence of a scene that was cut on season 1. Amazon told him no, and it was actually him doing that. And it's, from what I gathered, it's actually like dropping, which, think of Superman, like those are fucking bullets basically. So then they allowed him to do it to cut this off. I'm excited because we're getting to the peak where shit's about to go crazy. Like, from what I read, the guy who plays him said, like, he's unleashed now. Starting next season, there's no chains holding him down.
Now, those were genetically made superheroes in that movie, right?
Yes.
And
Show. Okay.
But not everybody knows that. So that's the big controversy where, like, they try to sell these people as like God's chosen people, but they're just lab rats. Yeah.
But nobody knows that they're made. But they know they're made.
At this point in the show, they know. At this point in the show, it's broken open. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the heroes of the show, in one of the scenes in season 1, they like go to this hospital and these super babies are in there. And like he literally grabs one and holds one up as its eye lasers shoot, and he's like killing, he's trying to get away, and he's like fucking killing people with these kids' eyes lasers.
It's fucking super babies.
Yes. Oh, you know what, Jelly? You'll hate the show because the main character, every fifth word, cunt. Every fifth word. Oh, you cunt.
Like the word cunt.
Well, people didn't, but all of a sudden it's making a resurgence.
I'm really, really, really mad.
I
called somebody a cunt the other day. I'm like, you fucking cunt. And I was just like,
Carl. God, I can't remember.
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban. So he has like that kind of what is it, like kind of almost like a Scottish British accent. So they use the word like all the time. So that's what he's like. Yeah, and he like even congratulates. Yeah, good job, you fucking cunt.
Every fifth word. Oh, you cunt. Oh, you cunt. Don't be a cunt.
Just essentially cultural thing.
It's a Gatling gun of cunts.
He though. With the beard and everything, like I think he could probably pull it off.
Probably.
He doesn't want Wolverine. He's tired of him.
I want Wolverine, but I want him in a supporting role. I don't want
him to be center.
X-Men and the Wolverine.
In the center of everything. Like everything was, about him getting his adamantium and his trauma and kind of like a lot of his villains and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Would you be okay if they didn't really put him with the X-Men a whole lot and did him more with the Avengers and on his own?
That was one of the animated series to where he was just straight up in the Avengers.
So
he's been in and out pretty frequently, like over the years, hasn't he?
Yeah, in fact, in the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, he sided with the Avengers. So Wolverine is a longtime Avenger.
Fuck you, Cyclops. I'm sorry.
So is Beast. Beast was an Avenger at one point.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because, they're popular characters. and so why just leave him, in these series? I would have no problem with Wolverine being in an Avengers movie, but I want him with the X-Men first.
So, like, kind of establish him, but then it's like, get the fuck out of here.
I always seen him as, like, the pet.
He goes where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's very independent. He just kind of wanders and does his own thing because, because of his mutant powers, he's really effing old and has kind of had to be a loner.
And his memory's still, like, kind of fucked up.
Well, so, and not to mention, like, and this kind of reveals the shady nature of Charles Xavier, he was sent to kill Charles Xavier. And then Charles Xavier's just like, hey, you're a killing machine. I could use one of those. You're an X-Men now.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I did not. How old of a storyline is that? I never knew that.
So that wasn't like, it wasn't written like that. Wolverine just kind of popped. He's on the team, right? Because Wolverine started off as like some guy with gloves with knives. And then he actually morphed into, oh, wait, no, he's a mutant, So Wolverine did not start off the way he was. But I can't remember how long ago they revealed that basically Wolverine was in the X-Men because Charles Xavier made him.
Mind fucked him.
Yeah. So I want him in the X-Men first. And he makes more sense as an X-Men. He is a mutant. So can't do the fastball special without Colossus, so
true.
And that's the move where he throws Wolverine at stuff.
More synergy. You gotta have the synergy.
Hell, I've seen Colossus do it with the Hulk. The very first issue of what that fucking series? Secret Wars, the last Secret Wars series. Like, the Hulk needed to get up to some spaceship that was flying in the Earth sky, and he's like, "How can I get up there?" And Colossus is like, "I know how to turn a witch." So,
oh damn,
yeah, Colossus. I know they don't show that shit, but Colossus is strong as fuck. In fact, at his base level, he is stronger than the Hulk, but Hulk can get angry and get stronger, so that's where he starts out.
Listening to Colossus talk in the game I was playing the other day. I'm like, hee. Then I was like, why can't I play him, damn it? And then I realized, like,
you will
unlock him in a certain area. I'm like, damn it, I gotta raise my people higher because those are like 40s and 50 levels to beat that shit. And it's damn, how high do the characters get? So then it's like, oh, we're still in the 20s, so there's a lot that I don't know yet.
So did you make it to the X Mansion yet? Then
we just made it to that. Okay, mansion.
Where Deadpool's in the kitchen and he's singing.
He's like,
taco.
No,
not
tacos.
What's the song? I'm trying to remember. Taco night. I'm gonna eat while the X-Men fight. Taco. It's a cool game.
He has his little apron that has the little Deadpools on it. He has a little hat. He's just making tacos. He has like this giant stacks of tacos. They're like huge.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. And then he goes kind of berserk because he's pissed because Juggernaut fucks up all of his tacos.
Yeah.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
It's a great part of that game.
I am loving the game. Me and Hubs have to definitely keep playing it.
I just can't convince anyone else in my house to give a shit about that game. But
the only thing that drives me insane is the camera angles. Like when me and him play, the camera angle is so wonky because like I obviously use Scarlet Witch. He uses Wolverine and who else does he use? We use Scarlet Witch. We use.
Could you get 4?
Right. Wolverine.
I like to use Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler and
what the chick with the purple
Psylocke?
Psylocke.
Okay.
We use Psylocke and we use
Any of the Guardians?
As we kept progressing, we picked new people because their levels were higher than the people we had.
Oh. Venom's good in that too.
Because we shoved all of our experience cores in our two main people. Because he liked using Wolverine because he liked his playstyle. And obviously I'm picking my girl. So we shoved all the XP crystals that we had in them. So they're, like 6, 7 levels higher than the normal characters.
Right.
I can't remember that. I'm going to have to look at it now.
Yeah, you have
It's
to.
going to be someone dumb and it's going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, why we got that guy on there?
I think you use Star-Lord a lot too. I like how he can like hover and shoot at shit, I think. Or maybe it's Iron Man I'm thinking of. But fun game. Guys got to check that shit out. Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Switch.
Mm-hmm. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order.
That's right. The Black Order. All right,
like,
well.
I don't have that. Do you even have a Switch?
No, yes he does. I bought the game.
Yes.
Yeah, he does, because I bought the game because I was supposed to play with him. Guess what I've never done?
Do you have the game?
I had it.
Had.
Honestly, I haven't even really played games. Like, I've played one game in the last month. Like, I've just been kind of gamed out.
Oh,
I
that's
have
because
been.
You didn't get Valheim to play with us.
I've been competitive. I've been sucked into competitive gaming, League of Legends, and I just started playing Overwatch again. I don't know. Every now and then I get this like delusion of grandeur that I'm gonna like enter a pro gaming tournament at some point, and it's never gonna happen. But because I don't have a team of people and I'm too introverted to search.
Tracer here.
I love that game.
No, it is a good game. It's fun.
All right, well,
survival games.
Listen, we're getting close to the wee hours of the morning here, Omega Level Nerds. So I say we go ahead and put a pin in it. Plus, I'm going to be doing some extra duty tomorrow on another podcast, so I gotta get
what
some
podcast,
sleep.
D?
Well, sure. Let me go first. Let me tell you where you can find your good buddy D here, of course, at D-Square72 on Twitter, which has a link to my YouTube channel that I do some stuff here and there for. Of course, I really want you to go give some love to the at Omega Level Nerds Twitter with a link to that YouTube. So that's where you can find your good buddy D Square. But you can also find my reviews on superheroespeak.com. And so tomorrow, I will be recording with Dave and the rest of the boys over at Superhero Speak. That's where I'll be. They're going to be doing their WandaVision wrap-up discussion, so I'll be taking a part of that, as well as every time around this year to coincide with March Madness. They do their own version of March Madness where they pick the top video games, movies, comics, and so this will be the second year in a row where they've asked me to pick the comics. So I will be giving my list of basically the top 8 comics. And I'll give you a preview, though. I'll give you a preview. Please do join us when that comes out. That's Superhero Speak, but I'll give you a little preview here. So the eight comic titles that I have chosen for this year's March of Madness tournament is Donny Cates' Thor. I was going to put Donny Cates' Venom on the list, but I wanted to keep from making everything Marvel, and I wanted to keep Donny Cates from, being on the list multiple times. So I went with
ruining the list.
Yeah.
Only one.
So I go with Donny Cates' Thor. Then we got Chip Zdarsky Daredevil.
Nice.
Hickman X-Men X of Swords event, and I've got some explaining to do about that because it wasn't the greatest event, but it did have a really cool something, particularly when it comes to Apocalypse. Al Ewing and Joe Bennett's Immortal Hulk, and that's where I had to cut off Marvel. I didn't want Marvel to be the whole list. So we do have McFarlane's Spawn 3:11. Had to put that on there. I gave that a 10 out of 10. on superheroespeak.com. So I definitely want to put that on the list. Rich Dueck, Sea of Sorrow. So Rich Dueck was actually on the show, and his Sea of Sorrow series is killing it. I'm not into horror, but I know Volsker, you are, as well as JD, who's been on the show, and it's getting rave reviews. So I wanted
it's kind of like a mind fuck. Like, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott Snyder's Dark Knight Death Metal. Again, not something I've read personally, but it's getting rave reviews.
Awesome.
It's led us to where we are right now in the DC universe. So that's cool. Then we got Ryan Parrott's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and TMT crossover. I almost put Last Ronin on that, but I actually had that on the list as well. It's like, okay, I can't put two.
What happened to My Little Pony Transformers?
that was number 9. I had to, that didn't quite make the cut. I only could pick 8. That almost made it though. Rest assured. So yeah, there we go. Superhero Speak. So I'll be on there next episode. So check that out. That's right. Jelly Rose, what about you?
So I've been, you can find me on Twitch at Jelly Rose. I'm there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesdays, I kind of just play anything random. Thursdays is Survival Day, and Fridays depends on what my friend wants to play.
Nice.
So those games aren't really set. Saturdays, I have been sticking to what I said last week, and I wrote another blog. So if you want to read casual game reviews and overviews of the game, you can check out there. I just did Stardew Valley. Last week I did Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It's going to be a mixture between mobile games, video games, and board games. So there is a list that I have if you go to jellyrose.blogspot.com of the current reviews that are on there, and there's going to be every Saturday a new review because I take my laptop to my kids' bowling and I just write one up. Like, this is the perfect time that forces me to do something with this time as well. And then Tuesdays, I started it last week, but this week is going to be the actual first day that I actually put something out, because last week I was pretty much getting everything ready. But Tuesdays, I'm going to start a series on YouTube where I do startups to games, to pretty much to teach people how to start different survival games, of what they're looking out for, what they should really do, building wise, where they should build. And I'm going to do that for every survival game I have, which is a lot of survival games, and kind of do it in like little part series and then move on to the next one. Because I freaking love survival games. So that's the current thing I'm going to do every Tuesdays for that. So you can find me on YouTube at Jelly Rose. You can go to my blog spot. You can go to my Twitch. If you want to go to socials, they are at J3LLI3ROS3 on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And then the Patreon is up. It's at patreon.com/jellyrose. If you pledge to a couple of the tiers for at least 3 months, you will get merchandise sent to your house. Some of them also gives you in-stream bonus perks, and a lot of my old cosplays on there. So I'm not really updating it right now. It's pretty much for current stream perks for the merch, and if you want to see my older stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, check that out. What about you, Volsker?
Yeah, so you guys can check me out on YouTube. Just type in Volsker. You'll see one of my many videos. I have a couple unboxings that I got to work on. Kind of dealing with nothing bad, but some life decisions and changes that I'm not ready to announce just yet. And then over on the Twitter at Volsker, and I am Volsker on Instagram, and then more importantly, every single week getting hot nerdy up in here with the Omega Level Nerds.
Yes, indeed. Hot nerdy with us, the Omega level nerds. Well, that does it for us this evening. Thank each and every one of you who are listening and or watching. I sincerely appreciate the support. If you are watching us on YouTube, and if you haven't done already, please like, subscribe, and throw us a comment down in the comment section. That really helps us out as far as the algorithm is concerned. Spread the word of the Omega Level Nerds, and we would be forever grateful. Until next time, peace and love. I'll talk to you again soon.